So there are the scores and the standings, and the man standing to my left from UC Santa Barbara, Clay Fisher, who came over a couple of days ago and introduced yourself to the Cape League in fine fashion with the Grand Slam. Could you have thought of a better way to just get thrown into a game and make an impression like that?
No, I only hit one home run all year, so I really wasn't expecting to do that. And the wind was blowing out pretty hard, so just put one in the air, got lucky, but it was a fun way to start, yeah.
Now, you're kind of stealing my thunder here with the one home run at UCSB, but with that said, is that something that you want to work on over your final 2 years if you decide to stay that long, your power, or do you want to maintain the average?
I think I would be more fit as an average guy. I mean, I've never really been a big power guy all my life, but I definitely want to get stronger, and maybe a couple more will go out next year, but definitely want to work on like contact and average and getting on base.
Now, from LA, Santa Barbara's not that far away. I'm curious what the recruiting process is like, because you're already in a warm weather state where you can play baseball year round pretty much. What went into the decision to go to Santa Barbara?
I went for a camp and just toured the campus and was there for a couple days, and the atmosphere just really fit me. And not too far from home, and good program, up and coming coaches, everything, the whole deal. So it's pretty easy for me.
Now, your head coach, Andrew Checkett, says this isn't his first rodeo, and he's hauled in some pretty impressive recruiting classes. So I'm kind of curious what maybe your competitive edge is when you're part of that recruiting class. Obviously a big shot in high school. Now you're once again a small fish in a big pond. What are those first couple of weeks like for you?
It's always fun to try to be a part of that was my thought process. I wanted to try to be a part of an upcoming program, so it was fun. Me and my recruiting class with me, we all worked pretty hard and did stuff right, and if you do that, good things will happen. So
now, at least for you, I'm sure you're not used to as much failure on the diamond, but your first 13 games last year, only hitting about above 100. Then you sit for 2 weeks. What did you learn about yourself before you were able to come back and get out of that schneid?
Well, I got hurt. That was what it was.
Okay.
And I just worked. I went back home. They went to Wichita State, so I got to go back home and rest and kind of give my mind a break, and just hit a little bit, figure some stuff out, and yeah, it worked out a little bit. So,
how much easier is it in year 2 at Santa Barbara as opposed to maybe year 1 in terms of now your feet are wet and you get thrown into probably some of the biggest baseball games of your life, going to the College World Series? So what are, I guess, maybe some of the positive differences, and how much did it help you mentally having, hurdles that first year heading into year 2?
Yeah, year 2 you feel like you arrive at school and you feel just, even though it's 1 year, way more experienced and things are easier to follow. You got the routines down, and then you really have more time to focus on getting better and not just freaking out about all the new things going on. So just 1 year of experience is a whole lot.
Now, a lot of college players dream of playing in Omaha for the College World Series. You got to do it this year. What is that atmosphere like? Because that's kind of like a major league atmosphere, but you're still dealing with 18 to 22-year-olds. So what's that like?
We got a little taste of it at Louisville in the Super Regionals. They had tons of fans there, and then obviously Omaha, huge crowds. But once you get in between the foul lines, it's kind of zone out, and you just play the game. And then after the games, you just look up and realize what you're playing in front of, and it was pretty awesome.
Have you maybe had, I don't know, verbal sparring with maybe Rio Gomez from Arizona about the World Series or any of that? Are there any bragging rights on the line, or does he just not touch that?
Well, we both just got here. I haven't really got to talk to Rio, but I'm sure we'll discuss about it, how cool it was and stuff like that. So
I'm sure you thought you were going to make Team USA. You didn't, but you still have a home here in Cotuit. I guess, how relieved are you in the sense to have a home for the rest of the summer, but also how much of a chip on your shoulder do you have?
It's nice to be here and nice to play, but I really am not going to change what I do, how I play. If people like me, they do. If they don't, they don't. So,
have your coaches stressed to you maybe one area that they want you to get better in for next year and possibly a senior year?
They would like me to get a little bigger, I guess, and just work on my approach and swinging at bad pitches and stuff like that.
Now I've got to ask you, you're from LA. How good are those Dodger dogs? Because I've heard they're really great, but I haven't had a chance to have one, so I'm kind of curious.
I'm actually an Angels fan, but the Dodger dogs are pretty good. They're something you got to try.
So if I'm going to Anaheim, then what do I grab?
They got some chili dogs that are good, I'm pretty sure. So.
All right. That's Clay Fisher. We'll have starting lineups coming up right after this.